In the last video, we have seen what is meant by creep, and now we will discuss about relationship between creep and time, and also the nature of creep. Elastic deformations occur immediately when concrete is loaded. We know that creep is a time-dependent deformation under sustained load. Here, elastic deformation means when we apply load on the material, the deformation takes place. Then, after if we unload or remove the stresses, the material regains its original shape. Here, the non-elastic deformations under sustained loading increase with time. Means the non-elastic deformations are developed if we increase the time of loading. Means without increasing the load under constant load but increasing with the time, non-elastic deformations are developed. Non-elastic deformations are nothing but the deformation at which the material cannot regain its original shape. It is here explained in the third point. The non-elastic deformations, rightly called creep, increases at a decreasing rate during the period of loading. The next one, the ultimate magnitude of creep on a unit stress basis PSI usually ranges from 0.2 to 2.0 into 10 power minus 6 and ordinarily is about 1 millionth per unit length. Generally, the magnitude of creep ranges from 0.2 to 2.0 into 10 power minus 6. From this table, we can understand the relationship between creep and time. Generally, if we consider the total creep, 1/4 to the 1/3 of the total creep that usually occurs for the first month of the sustained loading. Means if the loading takes place or under the sustained loading for the first month from the total creep, only 1/4 to 1/3 of the creep occurs. The next one, about 1/2 to 2/4 of the total creep occurs at the first half year of sustained loading. Means under the sustained loading in the first half year, means in the first 6 months in a year, from the total creep, about 1/2 to 3/4 of the creep takes place. This is the graph. From this, the nature of the creep can be explained. If we take the age of concrete or time on x-axis and linear contraction on y-axis, under loading of a member from this point, this indicates the loading. From this point, the strain is developed. From this point, the strain is developed. Up to here, we consider it as immediate development of strain. If the loading continues up to unloading point, here the development of creep can be observed. And this we consider as a creep. And after the unloading, here at this point, if the unloading takes place, then after immediate recovery of the creep takes place. So after unloading, still it continues a little bit and gets stable up to here, and this is considered as a creep recovery. Next, coming to the shrinkage, the volumetric changes of concrete structure due to the loss of moisture by evaporation is known as shrinkage. Means when the concrete is placed, due to the evaporation there will be a loss of moisture. By that the volume gets changed of the concrete structure. This volume changes and the damage is known as the shrinkage. It is a time dependent deformation which reduces the volume without any impact of the external loads. We have seen that creep is also a time dependent deformation and shrinkage is also a time dependent deformation. But whereas in shrinkage, the deformation takes place without any external loads. Coming to the next point, volume change is one of the most detrimental properties of concrete which affects the long-term strength and durability. Here, detrimental means tending to cause damage. So, the volume changes in the structure causes damage to the concrete properties. So, automatically the strength and durability are affected. Coming to the type of shrinkage, there are 4 types of shrinkage we can observe. The first one is plastic shrinkage, second one is drying shrinkage, the third one is autogenous shrinkage, and last one carbonation shrinkage. Getting into details, the first one, plastic shrinkage. The definition of this type of shrinkage is in its name itself. Shrinkage of this type manifests itself soon after the concrete is placed in the forms while the concrete is still in the plastic state. Means as soon as the concrete is placed, which is in the plastic state, at that stage if the shrinkage occurs, then we can say it is a plastic shrinkage. Evaporation of water from the surface of the concrete or by absorption by aggregate or subgrade is believed to be reasons of plastic shrinkage. Reasons for the plastic shrinkage are when the surface water gets evaporated from concrete and by absorption by the aggregates. Here absorption of aggregates occurs due to the pores present in the aggregates. The next one, the aggregate particles or the reinforcement comes in a way of subsidence due to which cracks may appear at the surface or internally around the aggregate or reinforcement. So here the subsidence means sinking. When the aggregate particles or the reinforcement begin to sink, then automatically there will be no bonding. Then the cracks are formed at the surface, because if these aggregate particles and the reinforcement sinks, there will be voids on the surface. So there will be more evaporation takes place. In case of floors and pavements, as the surface area is exposed to drying is large, in that case also the plastic shrinkage occurs. And some other reasons for plastic shrinkage are a high water cement ratio. Water cement ratio means the ratio of water to the cement. If the water cement ratio is high than the required quantity, then it is also reason for the plastic shrinkage. Next one, badly proportioned concrete. Here, the badly proportioned concrete means it may be either having improper or insufficient presence of matrix for the binding, or it may be due to the excess water content. These are comes under badly proportion of concrete. The next one is rapid drying. It is nothing but the drying occurs very fastly than the usual. The next one is greater bleeding. We know that bleeding means gain of water on the surface of concrete. So as the water gain on the surface gets evaporated, automatically the shrinkage takes place. The fifth point, unintended vibration. Unintended means nothing but it occurs not intentionally, or we can say it as without planning. If the vibration takes place without planning, then it is also reason for the plastic shrinkage. The last one, richer concrete also undergoes greater plastic shrinkage. In rich concrete, the quantity of cement used is high. Generally, the rich concrete is used for roads and waterproof structures. Next one, plastic shrinkage can be reduced mainly by preventing the rapid loss of water from the surface. Plastic shrinkage is nothing but the loss of water. So, by preventing the loss of water, automatically the plastic shrinkage can be reduced, and this can be done by covering the surface with polyethylene sheeting immediately on finishing operation. So by covering the surface, there won't be any loss of water by the evaporation. Coming to the next method, by monomolecular coatings by fog spray that keeps the surface moist. By coating the surface, the required moisture can be maintained on the surface so that there won't be any evaporation takes place. And the last one, by working at night, because in the night time there won't be any sunlight and there will not be much scope of loss of water due to the evaporation compared to the daytime. So to prevent the plastic shrinkage, working at night time is preferable. Next, coming to the drying shrinkage. Drying shrinkage can be defined as the contracting of the hardened concrete mixture due to loss of capillary water. Here, contracting refers to the decreasing in size, and capillary water means the water or the moisture in the concrete which is lost by the capillary action. Due to this loss of water, the concrete gets reduced in size, and the drying shrinkage occurs. This shrinkage causes an increase in tensile stress, which may lead to cracking, internal warping, and external deflection before the concrete is subjected to any kind of loading. Means before loading itself, by increasing the tensile stress, the cracking occurs, internal warping, and also the deflection may cause. And all Portland cement concrete undergoes drying shrinkage as the concrete ages. Under drying conditions, the gel water is lost progressively over a long time as long as the concrete is kept in drying condition. Means if the concrete member is kept under drying condition, the loss of water will be more if that is maintained for a long time. Drying shrinkage can occur in slabs, beams, columns, bearing walls, pre-stressed members, tanks, and foundations. Coming to the third type of shrinkage, autogenous shrinkage. In a conservative system, when temperature is constant, some shrinkage may occur. That type of shrinkage is known as autogenous shrinkage. Here, the conservative system is where there is no moisture movement to or from the paste is permitted. Means the moisture is neither enters nor exits from the paste. Then at that condition, in the normal temperatures, the autogenous shrinkage occurs. And this shrinkage is not much important and not practical. It is applicable only for the mass of concrete for the interior of concrete dams. And it is dimensional change of cement paste, mortar, or concrete caused by the chemical shrinkage. The magnitude of the autogenous shrinkage is in the order of about 100 into 10 power minus 6. Coming to the last type of shrinkage, carbonation shrinkage. It is a recently recognized phenomenon. From the name itself, we can say that, or we can observe that the shrinkage is caused by the carbon dioxide reaction. Carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere reacts in the presence of water with hydrated cement. In the atmosphere, out of many other gases, the carbon dioxide gets reacted with the hydrated cement. The calcium hydroxide, that is CaOH2, in the concrete gets converted to the calcium carbonate, and also some other cement compounds are decomposed. Here, calcium hydroxide is the byproduct of hydration reaction in the concrete. When this CaOH2 reacts with the CO2, it gets converted into the calcium carbonate. So, it gets converted into the calcium carbonate, and also some other cement compounds are decomposed. Along with the formation of the calcium carbonate, cement compounds are also decomposed by this reaction. So, due to the decomposition of cement compounds, the drying shrinkage occurs. And this decomposition is possible even at the low pressure of carbon dioxide at normal temperatures or normal atmosphere. As we discussed in the carbonation shrinkage is probably caused by the dissolution of crystals of calcium hydroxide and decomposition of calcium carbonate in its place. Just now we have discussed in this point from the second one. Carbon shrinkage is caused by the decomposition of cement compounds and the formation of calcium carbonate. Carbonation reduces the alkalinity of concrete, which gives a protective coating to the reinforcement against rusting. If depth of carbonation reaches up to the steel reinforcement, the steel becomes liable for corrosion. Here the alkalinity is nothing but it is the capacity of water to resist the changes in the pH value, and it can also be said that it is a chemical measurement of water's ability to neutralize the acids. Here, due to this reduction of alkalinity of concrete, the reinforcement is protected. But the disadvantage is that if the carbonation takes place at the depth up to the steel reinforcement, then the steel is responsible for the corrosion.